One of the stars of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives on Hulu recently spoke to Us Weekly about her marriage, claiming that ketamine is one of the greatest tools that you can use to strengthen your relationship with your spouse.
What
Ketamine.
on earth?
Yeah. Secret Lives of Mormon Wives Demi Engeman calls ketamine the biggest tool to strengthen her marriage. And she's actually telling other people that this is great advice.
I have some advice. If the tool you're using to strengthen your marriage has can be an issue of scarcity, like you can only get so much of it, that's a problem.
Thank you, guys.
Like if you can run out of the tool, it's a problem. I have missed this.
Okay, so Demi Engeman has a surprising secret to keep her marriage to Brett Engeman spicy, and it's not the fact that they're in a Mormon polycule.
Plus, he spells his name with one T, so he's imminently
yeah, that's already a red
untrustworthy.
flag. So she said, ketamine has been the biggest tool I've used to strengthen my relationship. It's next level. Everyone I talk to, they're like, we're kind of struggling and things are getting a bit dull. Go do ketamine with your spouse.
Go do ketamine.
She further stressed that she and her husband do not pop Special K, and they get therapy administered by a doctor through an IV. Ketamine is a dissociative anesthetic, often used as treatment for depression or pain management.
Also a horse tranquilizer.
Yes, it is.
We've got a 20 from Gordon Shumway. I'm pretty sure she and Bill Maher talk about littering. Wait, what? Littering
Just talk
and
about
littering? And littering?
I like
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, she said it's microdosing. It's the safest form of anesthesia. They use it on kids, small animals to put them down, and it takes you out of your conscious state, and you're able to really diminish your pride and let down your walls and be able to speak heart to heart. Like, I never had deeper conversations in my entire life.
There's a problem with that. There's a huge, I mean, it's funny to laugh at it, but there's a huge problem with that. When you use substances to disassociate and allow those walls to come down, it means that those walls naturally go back up when the substance wears off, which puts an even greater barrier between you and the other person than there would be if the barriers had maintained themselves from the beginning and you just never had that conversation. So imagine you have this deep philosophical conversation that brings you two together on a level that you couldn't even imagine happening elsewhere. But the second that barrier goes back up, and you're not able to communicate or connect without it, it's going to make you resentful towards one another, and it's going to make the relationship even harder to actually grow closer.
We have a 20 from Buzzard. Jack Nicholson did LSD with his wife back in the day. She saw him turn into the devil and divorced him later. I've done LSD and it saved my life, so different strokes, I guess.
Well, the point here is it's I'm not here to judge people on whether they use, these types of drugs. That's not the point. The point is to say when it's used as a means of connecting you to another person, it is almost always universally going to cause problems once you lose access to that chemical.
Yeah, my take is basically if you chose the right person to marry, you can have heart-to-heart conversations and be vulnerable and talk about deep things without taking drugs first.
So one time, or at least, I mean, at this point, I want to at least articulate this. A lot of people forget that, like, just because something is uncomfortable, that it's automatically bad. Mm-hmm. Like, serious conversations that you need to have are actually mostly uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. You need to get over that.
The catharsis comes because it was uncomfortable.
And you don't need drugs to do uncomfortable things. If you need drugs to do uncomfortable things, that's probably not all that great.
You might be an addict.
Well, I mean, I don't know about an addict, but like...
If you need drugs to alter your psychological state so that you can do uncomfortable things or talk about uncomfortable subjects, like, that doesn't sound healthy.
It doesn't, but I don't want to say someone's an addict if they've never done drugs. Like, so you're like, okay, they're uncomfortable conversations. Maybe it'll help if I go and do drugs to do it. Maybe it won't. Mm-hmm. Maybe you should just try and power through it. Like, too many people expect to be comfortable all the time. Being able to withstand discomfort is like a superpower. The more discomfort you can take and still manage to either perform a task or do something with a partner or whatever, the more discomfort you can take, the better off your life is going to be overall. Sure, it's okay if you like want to be comfortable most of the time or whatever, especially in your daily life. Discomfort isn't something that you should always shy away from.
Well, here's the weirder part. She also said that she prefers to do ketamine while her husband is actually in the room but sober. So she wants to be high while he is sober so that they can have these deep conversations and grow closer with each other.
That means that the connection isn't real. It's manufactured. So
Kinda hate that,
how
yeah.
how he perceives that discussion will be completely different from how you've experienced the discussion. So any growth you think you've made is one-sided.
She said she also convinced one of her co-stars on the show, which, by the way, if you're unfamiliar, it's literally about a bunch of Mormon husbands and wives who ended up wife swapping, and they're in a Mormon polycule. She convinced one of her co-stars to do the same. She said her co-star tells me about her experiences with it, and she's like, I found out why I got divorced. I'm a whole new person. Meanwhile, I was like a cartoon character floating in the clouds, like I was an avatar with a tail.
You found out why?
She felt certain hallucinations too. She stressed to her co-star that she just needed to do more to get deeper. It does spice up your sex life for sure as well.
That's what it's about then for them. I think they're underselling that what it is it makes the sex better. And again, here's the other problem with
Why does it make the sex better though? Like
if what we're saying is that men are physical and women are emotional, and women want a strong emotional connection, you know, in regards to sex, that what she's feeling in that moment is twice as emotional as she would feel any other time, right? So the sex feels even more like a connective tissue between the two of them. But the problem is then when you go and you try to have sex without it, it's going to be awful.
Well, these people, obviously, because they're part of a polyamorous arrangement with all these other couples, are constantly coming up with new insane ways to quote unquote spice things up instead of actually growing in intimacy with each other. They're not actually working on their marriage.
Yeah, I hate
They're making it actively worse.
This is the same thing that happens. Anybody who's ever, if you've ever used drugs and you've made plans because you're in a good mood, and then you have to go and actually do those plans later, and you're like, I would rather do anything but do this right now just because I agreed to it when I was in a different mental state. That's exactly what they're doing. They're having deep and meaningful conversations while in an altered mental state. So then imagine you have this conversation about something specific, whatever it is within their relationship. And then he wants to go and address this conversation later. Well, he was clear-headed the whole time. He's ready to have this conversation again. She's not going to be ready to have this conversation again because she's not in the same mental place that she was when she was using the ketamine. This is an awful idea.
You know what else is crazy? They're Mormon. Mormons aren't even allowed to drink coffee, let alone
what's
IV ketamine for recreational purposes.
Mainlining ketamine.
That is
to
so
bang.
not kosher in Mormonism. I don't know what kosher is for Mormons, but that is so not allowed.
They're literally talking about mainlining to soak.
The worst is, like, I saw something on Instagram for them the other day. The worst type of content there is on social media
Mormon
is
ketamine content.
It's the people who make the videos that are like, somebody said I couldn't do something, so I went and did it. It's just the most gratuitous pat on the back.
Who said brunettes couldn't wear jeans?
Literally that. So there was one of these women, and it said, like, they said we wouldn't get a season 2, and it was like advertising season 2. I'm like, it's Mormon women in a polycule. Of course this was getting a season 2. This is not getting any less than 5 seasons.
This is the whole point of reality TV.
Literally no one said that you weren't going to get a season 2, and if they did, it's your own fault for listening to them.
And people like this are the exact reason why reality TV exists as a genre.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.